About just the Rise Up and Shine Summit that's going to be on Monday. So make sure we kind of let your friends know that this is going to be the one to go to, because I've been doing just the behind the scenes. I've been showing you guys of just the recordings that are happening. And I know there's new people that are coming in here and not sure exactly what we do. So I am Samantha Saunders. I wanted you to formally meet me before we, dive right into the summit for next week. So you just overall can see just who I am, just to get a little feel, because I will be your host for the Rise Up and Shine Summit. And this is the group Intentionally Thriving, our Facebook group. And so if you don't know who I am, Samantha Saunders, a trauma and toxic relationship recovery expert and therapist that helps Black and Brown women and men to break free from toxic relationships and establish healthy and nourishing ones, with yourself and other people. So I am so excited to have you here. If you're catching on the replay, hey, make sure you let me know where you're from, your name. I cannot wait to meet you in the Rise Up and Shine Summit. I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things while we're getting ready. I'm going to put a link. It's going to be in the comments for you to be able to just give access for me to be able to see your names during the summit. I'm trying to get us all prepared. And so you might have kind of saw me earlier today trying to come in and trying to get everything ready for next week, because I am super excited. We're having some powerful speakers come. I already have, the co-parenting one done, the co-parenting with the narcissist done, and the one where we talk about empowering yourself and taking back control of your life. Like, when I tell you this is powerful, this is. But what I wanted to do today is I wanted to just kind of get us ready, because a lot of times we don't even realize when we're people pleasing. So I wanted to make sure you knew exactly what was going on and exactly what happens when you find yourself people pleasing. Right. So I overall wanted you to kind of learn on how to break free from people pleasing and find your voice. But a lot of times we don't even know what that looks like. Right. We know that we're, feel like we're being nice, but we don't realize the difference between being nice and kind. And then I know if you work with me, we've talked about the difference. I really talk about that within my programs. But understand that being nice, we think we're doing someone a favor, but we're really not. Being nice is when you're doing something just to say that, oh, they think of me as this good person. You're being nice because they look at me a certain way. It's not truly authentically you. Where when it comes to kindness, it's something that you just do just to do. Nothing that's needed behind that. And so in this just overall live stream, I want to be discussing the common signs of people pleasing. So you're just overall aware what that looks like and why it's important to just overall break free from it, and a couple of strategies over getting ready for this Rise Up and Shine Summit. And in this group, I want to make sure that we are there for each other, because a lot of people do not realize what it's like to be involved in any type of toxic relationship. And that could be within family. That could be within partners, within friends, within just coworkers. Like, there is people that are around us, and I'm realizing that a lot of times it does stem from childhood. Okay, that's my therapy hat talking. But a lot of times we don't realize on how the impact it has on us, or if we feel like we have to show up in places that we really don't have to. And so that's why I really wanted to do this summit, because I know I was the type of person who felt like I always had to do things to make sure that so-and-so wasn't happy, or they wouldn't leave, or they wouldn't do this. My fear of abandonment was coming up constantly. And if you understand what I'm talking about, can you push an I agree? Just I agree in the comments. Let to make sure that we are just on the right path with just understanding each other, and make sure to kind of comment with each other, within this, because we know that we're not alone. And this is the exact reason why we do this, because to know that you're not the only ones that feel this way. And so just within this, whether you're someone who struggles with people-pleasing behavior for yourself, or you're here to learn more about support for someone who does, I'm confident that we'll find this, discussion within us just informative and empowering while we're going through this and getting ready for the Rise Up and Shine Summit on Monday. So make sure that you are involved. Make sure that you put your calendars out, have it scheduled already. A lot of times that we don't realize on how impactful that it is to us when we're kind of constantly doing these types of behaviors. And so I want to be able to talk about exactly why people pleasing behavior can be just really damaging, right? So some of the signs were, and I kind of, put some notes for myself, but a lot of times I don't realize that we experience negative consequences in different ways when we do this type of work. right? We just do this type of where we're just constantly feeling like we have to be there for someone that's not there for us. So some of the common signs are: one, you may feel anxious or guilty when you prioritize your needs over others' needs, which can lead to chronic stress and burnout. And how many times do we do things because we don't want to feel the feeling of guilty? And if you have worked with me, you know guilty is it's something that's going to be coming with it, but I think we don't realize is that we feel guilt either way. When you're showing up or setting boundaries or showing up for yourself, you're going to feel guilty, whether it's short term or long term guilt. Okay. Short term guilt looks like, okay, I feel guilty in the moment. So I'm just going to do what you said, just do what the other person says. So I don't have to feel this feeling of guilty. It's short term guilt, but it's long term consequences because after it, you're anxious, you're frustrated, you're mad the fact that you said yes. There's all these other factors that come into play. Well, long term, no, well, and excuse me if I'm mixing it up, because long-term guilt comes like you're going to come and feel the long-term guilt of just anxious and anxiety. And excuse me, the short-term guilt, right? I'm kind of mixing it up here. But the short-term guilt is when you are allowing yourself to say what you need to say in the short term, but you're able to do what you want to do in the long term, right? So in the short term, am I feeling comfortable just saying, no, I don't want to do that. I can't, or not right now, or I can't make it today, but maybe this time, only if you want to see the person again say this. But there's different things that you can be able to say, but you're going to feel guilty either way, right? And so next, another common sign is you may struggle to make decisions because you're worried about disappointing others. A lot of times what we do is we're so worried about the other person that we tend to forget about ourselves, right? And let me know if you do this, right? Or a different thing. If you find something I'm not mentioning, make sure let us know down below so we can be able to just come into agreement with you. So with this type of behavior can lead to constantly indecision or trying to get your feelings validated by somebody else because you are not trusting yourself, right? When we struggle to make our own decisions, we are a lot of times seeking validation elsewhere. So that is another common sign. Okay. For number three, you may feel resentful or frustrated because you're not being appreciated for your efforts. A lot of times when we're in places where we're giving more than we're receiving, we're resentful and upset about it, but we're not putting a boundary in place because of that. And I want you to know that if you're frustrated or upset or burnt, feeling like burnt out, like these are signs that you need a boundary in place, whether it's your own boundary where your own boundary could look like, okay, I see that this is happening. So I do need a break from it. I do need a break from this situation, from work. I need a break from even sometimes with kids. I need a little break. It could be like 5 minutes or, them, give mommy or daddy, give mommy 5 minutes and I'll come back, right? Letting them get used to you having time for yourself, right? Which is going to be new at first. I know they're guilty, but understand that if you are not right for you, it's really hard to be right for somebody else, right? Another common sign would be you may be taken advantage of by others who know you have a hard time saying no. And a lot of times you probably could think of the people that do this, where they know you have a hard time saying no. So they ask you and they get the benefit, and then you get upset by it, by them asking you. But it's because you are not saying anything. And understand that when you say yes, when you really mean no, you are abandoning yourself. Okay. I want that to sink in. You are abandoning yourself when you do this. Okay. Because you're going to feel exploited. You're going to feel used when really I do not blame the other person. I don't blame the other person for doing that because people are going to be people. And I'm not saying in a negative way, but if someone's going to ask you for something, okay, they have every right to ask. But if you're just saying yes, that's something that's on you. So it's something that we're going to be working through. And if you want to work more on this, we will definitely do that within the summit. And I also have a challenge coming right after the summit to be able to really tap into that space too. Right. So you'd be able to kind of really be showing up for yourself in so many different ways. Also, a lot of times you may lack a clear sense of your own values and priorities because you're so focused on pleasing others. A lot of times What happens in relationships is that we're so focused on the other person, like I talked about before, that you're not really knowing yourself, right? You're not allowing yourself to get to know you, your values, your priorities, right? So we're going to be talking about all that and making that time for you. So I'm so excited about this summit because this is a time, 1 hour, 1.5 hour each day where you have time for you. And what's coming up, we're trying to get the background pieces so you know what's coming up. We are going to have a VIP vault because understand that these are going to be live, right? So from 7 to 8:15 to 8:30, it will be taken down, but I want you guys to have the replay, right? And be able to kind of have your questions answered. So we are doing a VIP vault that is going to be launched. You're going to get the replays that are going to be out to you. And also each speaker gave information, like valuable information for you to take home in this toolkit. That's also a bonus added on to that. And also you have a bonus of the 90-day Fuel to Heal journal to kind of get you started with knowing your own needs and being there for yourself. And also, we're having a bonus where you have, 30-day access to the membership as well. My Hey, It's Not You, Just You membership, where we have healthy people who are doing the work. Because a lot of times you're in these toxic relationships, you have nobody around you that's doing the work. So you feel like you're left alone. Feel like to do it all on your own. So I created this membership where you do not have to do that. And so you'll also get access to that, which we do 2 times a month. We do in-person meetings every quarter, sometimes even sooner than that, because we just enjoy being around each other. We have a chat to kind of help each other during those times. So whether you have your own therapist, because this is more just being in a group coaching, but you do have also the expert access that I involve. As time goes, you're involving more experts and they get first access to any event I have going on. Like June 10th, we have an event coming up, our girlfriend annual check-in. We have our girlfriend's giving we have every year. So we have events consistently going on. So you'll also have access to that. So I do not want you to miss the VIP vault. We'll be releasing that, I'm hopefully by tomorrow. We definitely release on the day of. So you can be able to have all those bonuses included within this replay. You're going to want the replay. When I tell you it is so good, you're going to want to see this. So if you have any questions when it comes to common signs of people pleasing at all, just overall know that you're going to be able to just really work through that, with this summit and just in this group. But I just want to leave you with some things that you can start doing, right? So I want you to really practice in setting your boundaries. And if it's hard for you, let me know if it is hard for you and what's the hardest part. Let me know down in the comments what that looks like. But this means learning to say no when you need to and setting limits around how much time and energy you're willing to devote to other people. And you really got to know what that looks like for yourself, right? So I say if I know, for example, if I know mom or dad drives me crazy, talk for a long period of time. They might make jab comments to me or make me feel bad about myself. I know that, okay, if I put it down to about 5 minutes, right? I'm only talking for 5 minutes, then I'm putting a boundary around what is my, time limit where I will have to go, right? So doing that for yourself will also even tap into building your self-esteem in next week. So we're going to really talk about that. But working on building our confidence and self-worth can be a powerful way to break from the pattern, just knowing more about yourself, seeking care and support and, really focusing on what you offer as far as your strengths and accomplishments. And sometimes writing those out and down so you can remember who you are. And that's not about just your accomplishments, but the things you just have done for yourself, how you take care of yourself, right? And we're also going to talk about developing the communication skills, when it comes to dealing with difficult people. So also know every time in the sum you have questions, make sure let me know. The people in VIP Vault will get access to asking the questions to each expert. But what we will have, 10 to 15 minute time for you be able to answer questions for the experts between Wednesday and Friday. But if you have more questions for anyone, a lot of times it is 10, 15 minutes. So know you have more access with the VIP vault as well. If you need questions, make sure to let me know. Anything that resonated with you, let me know in the chat. Let me know your takeaways and what you didn't realize, what you feel like you want to add to, and what your experience has been. I want to hear your stories. I cannot wait to see you next week. If you have any questions, make sure to let me know. Talk to you soon.